SharkyBreath.
He plays video games.
Hello and welcome back to Disco Elysium. I am yet again puzzling over my thought cabinet here, seeing if there's anything that I can afford to get rid of for the sake of, seeing what else I have in terms of thoughts. But I think at the moment there's not anything that stands out, unfortunately. I'm thinking I will get rid of Kingdom of Conscience eventually here because the moralist dialogue options healing morale, I've got tons of way to heal morale at this point. Mainly I've got the art degree thing. I guess that's the main one, is the art degree thing, which is pretty useful since my conceptualization is decent. But the main thing with Kingdom of Conscience is that it raises my volition cap to 5. Now, I'm not in a position to just... technically I could shove all 4 skill points I've got in volition and leave it at that like I did with endurance, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the best idea. I do take a lot of volition damage, admittedly, but... yeah, I'm thinking that'll be the thing that I work towards getting rid of next, I guess. Jamais Vu will also lose some value once I've, been everywhere in the map, but I don't know when that point will be, so hard to plan around it, I've been looking through most of these, and most of them have some function that I'm still interested in. So, yeah, I think I'm going to try and make a point of actually spending skill points for one thing, and just sort of move forward for now. But I'm going to put 1 point in volition, because I got tons of skill points right now. We're going to put 1 in volition, because I'm probably not going to regret that, since my volition is volatile, after all. And what else? There's so many skills. Despite the fact that I'm generating skill points at a pretty good rate these days, I still feel weirdly paralyzed when it comes to just the quantity of choices I've got. So I was looking at over here, right, these checks here, the ones that I can re-unlock if I put a skill point in. And I got a couple of empathy checks I'd like to do, one for Kuno, one for Acel. I think I'm going to put a point in empathy. Plus, that's not a bad idea anyway, since my empathy is terrible. And, you come down to it, if I manage to get my psyche skills somewhat maxed out, then I can also get rid of one of the other thoughts here, Guillaume le Million, which raises all my psyche learning caps by 1, which wouldn't normally be that big of a deal, except for that my psyche is terrible. And that leaves me with 2 skill points, and I think I'm going to save those in case of emergency, since I'm about to go talk to Everard. Everard, that's the guy. I also changed clothes. Hello, I'm back. Let's just get in there. We've been putting this off for days. Well, that's partially Measurehead's fault, but whatever. In we go. Already ominous, but I can hear somebody working. What's this? The coffee in the giant thermoses is still lukewarm. Thermoses, that's a weird looking word. That plural. I don't think I've ever seen that written out plural. A stair made of pallets leading up. I suppose it is that. Oh, will this be our Everard man? I suspect it is. What we got here? This is not a fishing rod, is it? It's what? Is it not a fishing rod? It looks like a fishing rod. What is it actually? A taxidermy fish that tells time. The camera's doing weird things, by the way. I think it's because I tried to look at something while I was in the process of climbing stairs. Okay, so it's a fish clock. Very good. But the room is dominated by Everard and his sprawling desk. It's like 2-tiered. How can you even access the stuff over here? I don't think you can even reach that, can you? Maybe he's got really long arms. I don't know. Well, there's nothing here for me to do to stall for time, so I guess let's just talk to this man. Hi.
Before you is a walrus of a man, seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you.
That is quite a portrait there, friend. Your face appears to have been squished into a little bar and spread across your... a walrus of a man, Everard Clare. And he sure seems confident in his face, doesn't he? Oh, okay, continue.
With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares at you.
Okay, what are you expecting out of this encounter, Everard? Continue.
With a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
You were expecting me to get here sooner. But you weren't interested in making the job any easier for me, in that Measurehead's still out there after all. Continue.
A typical power play. Wait for him to speak first. Show him you've got a backbone.
Say nothing. Look him dead in the eye. Are you in charge of the dock workers? Let's get straight to business. There's been a murder. Leave without comment. Leave. A volition success indicates that I should say nothing. And I just put a point into volition, which allowed me to succeed that check. So I guess let's go ahead and do the volition thing. Say nothing. Look him dead in the eye.
The one good eye of this man fills you up without even flickering. The other, his lazy eye, is constantly moving like a goldfish in a tank.
That sounds perturbing. Continue.
Grotesquely magnified by his +6 glasses.
I suppose so, yes. Continue.
Amblyopia, a childhood condition.
Fair enough, I suppose. Thank you, Encyclopedia. Continue.
For a moment, you don't know where to look. It is unbearably humid in the trailer. Beads of sweat slide down the man's forehead.
This is the most, passive checks I've gone through before actually talking to a man. Continue.
Yet, he's unperturbed, holding his own.
Apparently so. Wow, even with my endurance maxed out, I only barely made that check. He's unperturbed. Stop, this is getting too weird. Keep staring. Do we just do a staring contest? Wait until Kim speaks up? Just glare at each other until finally my partner's like, okay, listen. Well, Volition hasn't spoken up again, so I guess keep staring.
At first, nothing happens. His face wears a wide and self-satisfied smile. Every now and then, he smacks his big lips.
Sure, continue.
So...
There we go. He begins to speak, albeit very slowly, purposefully leaving a pause after his opener. Sure, continue.
Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi, how nice that you found a moment to pay a visit to the Debardairs Union. I'm Everard Clare, head of this little operation here.
I mean, I figured he would know who we were, sure. He also has this strange little voice like this, but, I guess fair enough. Continue.
Please, have a seat.
He gestures to a tiny folding chair opposite to his giant desk. I mean, this is obviously an intentional move, but fine. Continue.
The folding chair looks like a torture device. Extremely uncomfortable.
I'm sure it does. Continue.
You go ahead, detective.
Lieutenant nods at you, then the chair. Kim, how dare you gang up with this guy on me? Continue.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best.
Take a seat. I'd rather stand. Actually, I'm in a bit of a hurry right now. Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. This is from Kim's perspective. Whatever Everard has in store for me, he's just going to try and back me up. But I suppose I am the one leading the investigation. That makes sense. I have a feeling I'm going to take all sorts of penalties if I sit down, but it's also... if we both just stand here awkwardly, is that going to be... Am I going to have to debate this intensely about every single action in this office? Composure doesn't want me to do it, but Kim has indicated that I should. Fine. Fine, I'll sit.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another.
He gives you a sly wink. Remain serious. Try to wink back. Damn, this chair's uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable.
So tell me, how can the head of the Debardairs Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
How indeed.
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
I'm so sorry, backside. Continue.
By the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say.
How... did I? I feel like I was the one that did the rudeness in that particular exchange, but I also can't remember it, so who knows. Okay, so what are you intending? Continue.
This should take care of that nonsense.
He points to a giant novelty check on his desk. It's absolutely comically huge. Okay, continue.
It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
He points at it again. Where is it here exactly? A comically huge novelty check. Is it not actually pictured? Continue.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Wait, you know Gart? Thank you, Everard. Take the comically large check. Take the comically large check, but don't say anything. Keep it. I'm good. Leave the check. You can take that comically large check and shove it up your ass. Leave it. 25 real. I mean, I don't generally refuse money from anybody, but it doesn't feel good to enter into negotiations with the union boss and immediately take money from him, does it? Well, let's pursue the Gart matter. You know Gart?
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real piece of work, that boy is.
Continue.
With a grin, he points to the checker game. It's like you're on a game show. At least don't thank him for it.
Right. So we're trying to show strength here in the face of a man who is exceedingly confident of his position and his influence, particularly where we are right now. Okay. Do we want... I have a lot of money. I can probably afford to refuse. Is it worth it? Would it actually benefit me to refuse? I mean, at this point, I don't have to pay 20 real a night, so it's a lot less appealing. It's just a question of, will it make any difference if I don't take it? I hate the feeling that I'm already losing this particular argument. There's not even an argument yet. It's barely even a conversation, and I already feel like I'm losing. Do we take it? I like money. I've done worse for money. Keep it, I'm good. We could just... I mean, there's no point in being this hostile. Between 2 and 3, do I take the check? Do I not take the check? Kim. Kim, help me. Do I take the check? I don't know what I'm doing, Kim. He really wants me to take that check. He really wants me to take that check. What a note to start off a relationship on, right? I've got 60 real. I got so much money. But it's $25. It's... Oh... This is not worth this much agonizing. I know, I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. It's just a gesture, right? It's just a gesture. Right? Right? It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days. Patch over your differences with the cafeteria manager. I mean, it's not. It's very specifically not. It's enough for one day. And it wouldn't even put a dent in the damages that I did at the whirling, which, of course, Kim already covered, aside from the window, which, you know... That's all the past. That doesn't matter. Do I want $25 enough to take it from this man's hand? I don't know this guy yet! But he's using this as a first step to shape to shape our relationship going forward. In which case, maybe it's best not to take it? I can technically make that much if I just have, you know, like, nerd thoughts about 13 things and I'm good. But then I would have $25 more. Just take it. Just take it. It's fine. Take it. Take it.
Is there anything you'd like to say to me? Or...
Continue?
No.
Yeah, thanks. No, it's cool. You got integrity. Hooray, integrity.
Cool? I wouldn't go that far. I'm sure there are cooler things than delivering a comically oversized novelty check to a cafeteria manager. But, sure, if that's what's cool nowadays.
Oh, right. It's a check that's made out to Gart. I'm just delivering $25 to Gart. I could have just... Well, whatever. At least I have integrity. Continue.
Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
I'm pretty sure I know exactly where it is, but I can't help but notice that you said lost gun with asterisks around it twice. Still looking to shape this relationship in your favor, huh? Cool, continue.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun.
Am I about to take volition damage again? Continue.
The world is swallowed
Yep.
by a black hole of fear. Only 2 words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and gun.
And that was a success even. I succeeded at Half-Life and got that result. Great, continue.
When he said, "Don't worry," he actually meant, be very worried.
How do you know about my lost gun? I'm not worried, I got this. I would appreciate any help you could provide. I actually think I know where it is. Like, I don't know specifically where it is, but I think I know who has it. So genuinely, number one, I don't think you're going to be able to find it because it's one of the mercs who has it. I'm fairly confident. Not worried. It's fine.
Are you all right, Harry? You say you got this, but you seem a little anxious to me. Don't be. Everything's going to be all right.
Isn't it just? Continue.
It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
This guy. This flippin' man. Listen, I know where it went. I shouldn't lose more morale for this because I know where it went. I just also know that somebody else bought it. Continue.
It was loaded. There were 2 bullets in it. You always keep at least 2 barrels loaded.
Kim. Kim. Turn to Kim. Composure, challenging 12. Don't panic. Took the novelty check. The chair's killing you. Didn't say thanks for it. I've got a low chance of succeeding at this. It's a red check. Kim, help.
Officer, we will deal with this later. We don't need Mr. Clare's help with this.
I agree. Continue.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
He says as though to himself. That didn't help, Kim. I got a 28% chance of succeeding, Kim. Ah, man, look at me. Look at me squirming. I know specifically what happened to my gun. This is ridiculous. How are you making me squirm like this? Don't panic, I'm going to.
Who does this guy
What?
think you are?
What?
Ronnie the rookie? You ain't worried about no lost gun, or unpaid bill, or forgotten name. You're the bad cop. You're probably more corrupt than him.
That I doubt, but technically I have dealt with 2 of those 3 things you just listed off. Nice roll. Nice roll, Harry. Wait, that's it? That's my point of pride here? Being the bad cop? Sink deep into the folding chair. Smile and cross your hands behind your back. Just mimicking his actions. This one does start with wait. This one starts with wait. Usually if you choose a wait option, you can then continue on, right? I really want to do this, but let's do the wait option.
Fuck yes. You're part of the old guard, the ancient guard, the most corrupt, unholy cops in the land. Chill out like the black dragon you are.
Black Dragon? Sure, sounds good. Let me just sink down into this metal slab.
The fat man does the same, sinking deeper into his chair than one would think is physically possible. He seems to be enjoying your little display.
I'm sure he is. I'm a little bit sad that I didn't get to actually do it, though, like physically on the screen. Continue.
Good. Now lean in with some corruption.
If you say so, composure. Listen, Evrard, pal, we both know what makes the wheels of the world turn. Sure. Where's this going?
That we do, Harry. Let them say what they will about you and me. We're both born fighters.
Indeed. This fighter could have used a more comfortable chair. Nice bit with the chair, by the way. A good way to keep your guests on edge. Sure.
Why, thank you. It's always nice when a fellow professional appreciates your work.
Continue.
That's it. Now kick back and add a final flourish for dignity.
Thanks for your hospitality. Feel free to visit me down at the station anytime. This is a worm's lair, and we both know why I'm here, to help grow your horde. I'm not saying I'm corrupt. I'm rational. Okay. For dignity. Final flourish, huh? Visit me at the station anytime. I'm here to help grow your horde. I mean, that is presumably what he wants, but, like, he wants us from... He wants us to know that he has control over us. I'm not saying I'm corrupt, I'm rational. Is that helpful to the situation right now? I mean, that is presumably the way that an average person who is corrupt talks about their corruption, I guess, but I also do kind of just have, I want to take the option that allows me to say Worm's Lair with an umlaut and everything. I'm doing it.
You strike me as a reasonable man, Harry. I like that in a lawman.
He smiles.
Let's cut to the chase, shall we? What can Everard Clare do for you?
What indeed? Continue.
I think we'd like to ask you a few questions. Don't you think so, Detective?
The lieutenant looks quite fed up with the situation. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. Continue.
Whatever you do, don't ask him about the gun first. You don't want him thinking you're scared.
I mean, that makes sense. Plus, I also know where the gun is, rhetoric. I mean, it's sort of, sort of. I have a good lead. I'm told the Union is involved in the local drug trade. I've just finished investigating the local drug trade. Aren't you going to ask me how I got in? How do you know my name? Let's talk about my lost gun. I want to talk about the hanging. I'm looking into your shady brew. I met Joyce, the company representative. What's in the container that's outside your office? I'm just obsessed with that thing. Everard, I'm going to leave now, but we might talk again later. Okay, where do we want to start? This is another situation where he was, I suppose, testing us. Is there any point in bringing it up? I mean, are you going to bring up almost every option here? Yeah, probably. So do you want to start here? Sure.
Harry, honestly, I'm just relieved you didn't get a hernia. A man your age?
He says almost gently. Say nothing. A man my age? What are you implying? I'm at the peak of my abilities. I, too, am surprised by the resilience and athleticism of this tool I've been provided with. Tap your chest. My body's going to break down any moment now. Probably pushed it to the limit. Enough wackiness. Let's get back to business. I, too, am surprised.
You did look like you were gonna collapse and die when I told you about your lost gun.
He inspects you over the rims of his glasses. You love that phrase, huh? Am I going to take more morale damage? Continue.
Anyway, I assure you, I am a very well-informed man. Information reaches me before I even get the chance to request it.
Under the circumstances, did Leo tell him? I mean, we did wander around a while before we came back here. Either that or was someone contacting him remotely? I'm not sure. Okay, well, so I have just finished investigating the local drug trade.
You've got a lot of spirit clearing up the drug problem alongside this murder. I'll talk to the mayor and see if I can get you the key to the city, Harry. Now, let's talk real business.
He adjusts his glasses. He's not interested in talking about the drug trade. Got it. Continue.
Actually, Rivershell doesn't have a mayor.
Fantastic. Thank you, Encyclopedia.
He refuses to discuss it further. It's probably just a small nuisance to him.
And I no longer have the option of bringing up that the Union might be involved. I guess fair enough. That's what I get for coming at it diagonally. Okay, well, how do you know my name? Is there really even any point in asking that? I feel like it's just going to put me in a position of weakness again, which I don't really need help with. I want to talk about the hanging.
Oh, of course. That's your main thing here. That's why you're in Martinez.
He nods.
I know everything that goes on around here, and I would love to discuss it with you.
Sure, continue.
I mean, it's no secret that the lynching is connected to the strike. So much to talk about. Honestly, it's been weighing on me so heavily. I understand you need to interview me.
I sense there's a but. Say nothing. Sure, but...
Harry, had you asked me earlier, I could have used your help in dealing with a certain weasel. It would have really solidified our friendship.
The big man says with a tragic look on his face. A certain weasel? Continue.
Sadly, the moment has passed and the weasel's back in its den. Nothing to do about it now, so get this. I'm just going to give you the information, because I like you, Harry.
He points at you. Okay, so if I'd come here on an earlier day, there might have been some sort of a situation where I had to do a favor for him in order to get the information, kind of like I had to do for Joyce. But that moment has passed, so now he's going to do it as a favor, with all that implies. Continue.
There's probably more to that.
Wait, who was the weasel?
The time has passed, Harry. Were you not listening when I just said that? Pay attention, please. Now, do you want to hear about the hanging or not?
He wiggles his chubby index finger at you. The weasel thing sounds fun. Wish I could have done that. Yes, let's talk about the murder. I do want to talk about the murder, but weasels!
Yes, that would have been the interesting way to do things. For both of us, really. But you were too slow.
Apparently, yes.
But do not despair over this minor hiccup, Harry. I will tell you about the murder.
His expression turns to compassion. I'm sure it does. Yes, let's talk about the murder.
Fantastic. Time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry. This is gonna be good.
Oh, I'm fascinated by what this is going to be. His fist lands on the desk, by the way. Punctuation. I've heard about a connection between the lynching and the strike. I'd like to hear what you know about it.
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
Uh-huh, because you're definitely a flat cap. I'm listening.
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
Okay, continue.
You mean our victim?
Now, yes. Yes, he does.
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He nods gravely. Continue.
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm sure he does. Continue.
I'm talking beasts. Hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa. You name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry.
I mean, you're making stuff up, but I mean, there is certainly the possibility they were involved in stuff like that, yes. But it was also not be documented because that's specifically how they choose their jobs, which is not a point in their favor. I'm not saying it is, just continue.
Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Hold on, you have a village elephant? Go on, I think I've heard enough. I'm going to ask about the elephant.
No, Harry, the elephant is metaphorical, and so is the village. But the mercs and their brutality are very real.
Go on, or I think I've heard enough. I mean, if this was I think saying I think I've heard enough at this point implies that you're like, clearly they were monsters. So let's go ahead and have them go on.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
He laughs. Wait, they move the container?
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it.
I did. But maybe you mean being carried around by crane? Maybe I should try that. Continue.
But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them. All hardened commando types.
Right. His face turned serious, but also he said the phrase, but enough about me and my fun container, and I just really enjoyed that. That's all I'm saying. Continue.
One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
You sure are a piece of work, you know that. Your word choices are interesting. He shakes his head, by the way. Continue.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Presumably, yes.
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers.
He says, ignoring the lieutenant, which I wish you wouldn't do, Everard Clare. Continue.
We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough, and we push back. And when we do,
he raises his finger.
We push to kill.
We push to kill. Wait, the whole neighborhood is in on it? Who exactly did the pushing? Sure. So, wait, what?
Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, ex-coal miners, tough guys, all ready to spring into action for their home base.
So who exactly did the pushing in this particular case?
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood. Making sure everything runs smoothly.
Continue.
That sounds a bit like organized crime.
It certainly does, yes. Continue.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
He nods to you and the lieutenant. Like us, are they? They don't seem to like us much, considering our similarities. Continue.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
Yes, it does, Logic. You're absolutely right. Continue.
So these idealists killed our victim?
Yes, continue.
One day, Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land."
I bet he did it with a southern drawl. Couldn't you even do him the good grace of imitating his accent? No, you probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't, come to think on it. Continue.
He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him.
He chuckles.
I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Sure, understood. And I guess that's what they're doing, given that they're hanging out in the whirling all the time now. Continue.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Continue.
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martin A's boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in.
He chuckles again.
Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
Lawyer girl. That's sure a way to refer to Elizabeth, isn't it? Continue.
He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error? Anyway.
I guess I don't know enough to be able to make that judgment. But yeah, okay, fair enough. He does. There was a bullet in the hanged man's head. Do I want to tell him about that? How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping company? You mentioned a lawyer girl. Tell me about Titus Hardy and his crew. Good talk. Let's conclude for now. Okay. How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping company? I mean, he has information. Sure, let's just ask anyway.
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people.
He slams his fist on the desk.
That's their MO. It's what they do.
That's not a very good reason to know that, Everard. Continue.
Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry.
Okay, yes, I understand, but what I'm saying is that if someone... I mean, I'm saying this from the point of... I know they were in fact hired by the company, but if you don't confirm they were hired by the company, then, it could be a situation where a third party is like, there's some strife here, let's try and exacerbate things by sending in, you shouldn't make assumptions. That's all I'm saying, Everard. Anyway, you're right, though. Continue.
These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
Yeah, fair. I mean, you have made the connection there. That is them as well. Continue.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
Me too, but yeah, continue.
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
The fist slams on the desk again. He likes to slam that desk. The name of the company is Krenel this time. It might have been Sediment before. Is there any point in not sharing that with them? I'd feel like, no, sure, whatever.
Of course. You're always one step ahead of me, Harry. I'm no genius. I'm in this position because people like me.
The remaining mercenaries are organizing a tribunal to take on the Hardys. Let's change the subject. That's the crux of it, isn't it? Do I tell Everard what they're planning? It'll lead to escalation, right? But he could see the direction that would go. He wouldn't be able to miss that. Would that make him more willing to help us with our investigation? Because that is the driving force behind it right now. They're about to do this thing, and if they do this thing, it's going to get ugly around here. Yeah, let's tell him.
Tribunal? That sounds serious, Harry. We Union men should be shitting ourselves. I wish you hadn't told me that. I'm gonna lose sleep over this. Let's change the subject.
He appears aghast, rubs his chin, and smiles suddenly. I suspect he knew all that already. Continue.
He's clearly happy about the tribunal.
You don't seem too worried about it. Okay, yes. You don't seem too worried about it.
Oh, Harry, what do I really think about the tribunal? You're trying to climb to second base with old Everard before you've even courted him properly.
Am I? Continue.
He wants you to do more things for him before.
Sure. I'm gonna leave this for last. You mentioned a lawyer girl.
Oh, Liz is a bright one.
Yeah.
I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
He grins broadly. Well, good for you. Tell me about Titus Hardy and his crew.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them.
7.
Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members.
Continue.
Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself.
He starts laughing.
Gotta love his initiative.
I suppose you do. Continue.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
A fair question.
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind.
And he has very specifically not answered Kim's question. He seems to like to ignore Kim, and that's annoying. Continue.
Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
If Ferrara met these Hardys, can you ask them to cooperate with me? I mean... do I want to ask him for a favor? No, not before this. There was a bullet in the hanged man's head.
So they shot him.
He sounds pleasantly surprised.
He was shot in the head before he was hanged.
That, yes.
How odd. I don't know what to say, Lieutenant. They told me they hanged him. A hanged man is what I saw when I took a look into that yard.
The man shrugs. Well, yeah, of course. Continue.
It's impossible to say if he's telling the truth, sire.
He's very good at this. This is not surprising. Thank you, drama.
What I do know is, the case is in safe hands. If anyone can get to the bottom of this shot and hanged man, it's my 2 little policemen. Godspeed, policeman.
My 2 little policemen. That's quite a phrase, and that's exactly what you're going for here. Okay. Do we ask him to interfere in the matter with the Hardys? If otherwise it comes down to getting Titus to recognize my authority, and that's not my specialty. I'll ask, sure.
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
Interesting. Continue.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Wait, why are you giving it to me? Take it. I don't need it. I only wanted you to help me with the Hardy Boys. Why are you giving it to me?
I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real.
Continue.
Needless to say, this is another move. Don't take it.
Of course not. No, this is absolute. This is like the most obvious one he's done so far. I don't need it. I only wanted you to help me with the Hardy Boys.
Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there.
Uh-huh.
But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else?
He pockets the bill. Good talk. Let's conclude for now.
Was it a good talk?
He leans back suddenly
I'm not
worried.
sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike.
Uh-huh. Continue.
I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And, of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet.
Great sadness comes over him. I'm sure it really legitimately does. Yet.
Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
He says, slowly shaking his head. A man of the left. A man of the left. Like political left? Continue.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat.
That's what I was thinking you meant. Yeah, okay, continue.
He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
I am not a man of the left. I'm a patriot of Revachol. That's the fascist option. You're right not to trust me. I take care of me. I'm a hustler. I grind. I'm a money engineer. I'm genuinely not. What's that supposed to mean? I'm more left than you are. Possibly. This is another corrupt scheme, isn't it? I'm neither left nor right. I do what my heart tells me to do. I already dismissed the communist thought. I don't know how convincing I would be if I try and say that I'm more left than him. I'm not a money engineer. It's laughable to say that I am. But I'm also getting burned out on the moralist approach to, I'm not taking any of those options. Particularly in this case. I'm neither right nor left. I do what my heart tells me to do. That's not a very helpful attitude to have, genuinely. More left than you are.
You're saying it, but I don't believe you. You know how it is, company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. I'm barricaded in this fortress of mine, and I need to get a message out. Will you help me?
You barricaded yourself in here, but now I get you. People out there who you cannot safely deal with. Okay, sure. I got an achievement, by the way, for, I think, saying communist things 9 times, something like that. I'm not sure. Continue.
And what would this entail?
What indeed?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you.
What do you mean, once
You
again?
just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
He pulls out an envelope. There's got to be more to it than that. We're not idiots. Continue.
He thinks he can force you into his scheme. You can turn this around on him if you accept.
You can turn this around on him if you accept. Kim, what do you think of this? What are the signatures for? Fine, if I happen to be there, I can ask them. No, I'm not going to do this. You haven't told me who you want to get the thing. Kim, what do you think of this?
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
He studies of art. Continue.
But he thinks it's your call.
I'm sure he does. Continue.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm going to hand you the keys to Martin A's, and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
He bows his head in shame, then looks up and smiles. Sure. I don't know. It's kind of funny because, like, I'm guessing it's an entirely intentional choice because he has all these footnotes in his dialogue that imply that he's doing these big dramatic emotional face and body things to punctuate what he's saying. But his voice actor reads everything fairly straight in a voice like this, and I suspect that's entirely intentional. Like he puts on this big act of everything that he's trying to illustrate, but he doesn't change his voice at all, I suspect. It's not supposed to be that convincing. Either that or just terrible at, faking emotion, but I kind of doubt that's the case. Anyway, continue.
He's saying as little as possible, as vaguely as he can, deliberately omitting things.
Like whose signatures we're supposed to be gathering. What are the signatures for?
I'm glad you asked, Harry.
Are you?
The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martin A's. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates.
I'm sure that's going to work great there, buddy. He grins broadly. Continue.
There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
You mean the fishing village? He means the fishing village.
Yes, the little cul-de-sac on the coast, where all the men have drowned, in either the sea or the bottle. A gloomy place. Doesn't have that Union attitude.
Continue.
You're already pretty deep into this. What's a little more? No one can see you here in Martinez.
What will happen to the current occupants?
They are just going to have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
Continue.
Is he absolutely sure the tenants won't be thrown out in the street?
Are you 100% sure no one's going to end up homeless? Sounds like everybody wins. No, the first one, please.
Am I? Harry, these people, Martin A's is the most important thing in my life. I would never let anything bad happen to them.
The big man shakes his head in disbelief. But you specifically didn't answer the question.
We're gonna build a youth centre there. The value of their properties goes up and kids have a place to play in. I'm looking out for these people, not pulling the rug from under them, Harry. I'm looking out for all of Martin A's, not just the harbour.
What did you say about this? Not savoir-faire. I don't know if I trust your advice here. He thinks he can force you into his scheme. You can turn this around on him if you accept. I'm not sure I understand interfacing. But I suppose if I just wipe my hands of it, then I can't control what's going to happen to it one way or another. Fine, if I happen to be there, I can ask them. No, I'm not going to do this. Let's accept the task, and I don't have to do it, is the thing. Accept the task.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here.
He hands you an open white envelope. Continue.
You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I heard there was some trouble with the water lock, but it should be fixed now.
Lillian is the woman whose kids I talked to, and who I have the opportunity to ask on a date if I decided to pursue that. Isabel Sadie, that's the washerwoman. So the two people who are there are the two people whose signatures you need. Continue.
Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I'll know you're a solid socialist.
He runs his fingers through his thin hair. I mailed the signatures you asked me to get. Lie. I mean, I clearly haven't. I just took the envelope from you. Okay. How do you know my name?
Oh, I know everything about you, Harry. I have a big fat folder on you. Very juicy stuff.
He taps on the folder in front of him. I feel like there are things in that I would like to read, honestly. Continue.
And the word on the street is your memory is a bit hazy. If that's true, maybe I can help you out. Do you a little favor, so to speak.
I don't like that word coming from you. He looks at you questioningly. Continue.
It might be a good idea to hide your confusion. I mean, see what his game is first.
It's true. My memory is a bit hazy. My memory is fine. Don't worry about it. I mean, I don't hide my confusion from anybody at all, but Rhetoric, for whatever reason, is suddenly deciding that it might be a good idea. And I have a penalty to my Rhetoric right now, so I should just be thankful I succeeded. I guess I'm fine?
So good to hear that, Harry. Apparently, my sources were wrong.
He pats the brown folder again.
However, if you would have a spot of memory trouble, well, let's just say a fat, juicy folder could really fill in the blanks.
He winks at you. Continue.
Words flow like a river of honey from his lips.
That is how it works. Yes, continue.
I guess word has already reached him. No matter. No harm done.
I mean, it makes sense. We've been here for 4 days, and I have not been quiet about it. Continue.
It's just a brown folder. You can't make out what's written on it.
Continue.
Are you trying to tell me you've gotten hold of some of our documents?
That's a good question there, Kim. The lieutenant inspects Everard over his spectacles.
Mr. Kitsuragi, would you mind?
His eyes never leave yours.
Harry has some questions he needs answers to.
Continue.
Asking too many questions will make you look weak. You should maybe focus on the folder.
Focus on the folder. Continue.
Don't just jump to the folder. That's not smart. Shows you're on the edge. Do some probing first.
Okay. Do you know where I live? Do you know anything about my family? Do I have a wife or kids? Or what kind of a cop does it say I am? Where did you get that folder? Trauma Medium 11, have another look at the folder. +1 read shipping folders before. Let's talk of other matters for a moment. All three of these first questions, I mean, he already knows that I have memory problems. I feel like the first question I would have would be, where did you get that folder? Where did you get it?
Ah, this? My friends in your organization gave it to me, Harry.
He closes the folder. Okay, cool. So my boss. Great, continue.
This translates into, haha, you guys are so corrupt.
Yeah, it sure does, doesn't it? Continue.
I find that very suspicious. May I have a look?
He almost certainly is going to ignore you, Kim.
I'm afraid this is meant for Union eyes only, Mr. Kitsuragi. I'm sure you understand. Please continue, Harry.
He turns back to you. Kim suspects something. Read shipping folders before. I'm not going to ask him any of these first 3 questions. I'm going to have another look at that folder. 92% is pretty good. I've failed it before. Let's just try it.
As you look at the folder, Everard covers it with his hand and pets it. He's hiding it from you because it's not a real RCM folder. It's just another one of those brown folders you saw in the file cabinet.
Right, so he's just lying to us. Cool. That's not an RCM folder there, Everard.
Okay, Harry, you got me. This is from the Census Bureau, not the RCM. Those Census Bureau people are absolutely corrupt. You should do something about them.
Why should I believe you in the second thing you say after I called you out on a lie? Also, he said that grinning. Continue.
He got the name from the Census Bureau, and everything else from your actions here in Martinez.
That does appear to be the case, yes. Continue.
Yes, Mr. Kitsuragi from the Census Bureau. Like I said.
The second time.
Now I'm actually a very busy man. So is there anything else I can do for you, Harry?
He looks annoyed. Great. Love to hear it. Continue.
That means he doesn't really know anything about you.
But he wanted us to think that he did. Continue.
A pity. The mystery of you will have to remain a mystery for the time being.
So it would seem. So the Census Bureau says my name is Harry Dubois.
Yes, that's what I said. Try to keep up, okay? Let's move on.
This guy. I'm looking into your shady brew there, Everard.
I don't know what that means, Harry. Shady brew? There are so many moving parts in my operation, I can't keep track of them all.
Soup, man, soup. Continue.
You know what? Don't even tell me. Whatever it is, do it. Surprise me. Just one thing. If you can, make it even shadier.
He reconsiders. Okay, sure. Sounds good. Spike the soup. Continue.
He sincerely has no idea what you were talking about. And he doesn't care either.
Nor should he, really. It doesn't really matter that much to him. Fair. Okay, so, can I ask you about the container outside your office? Do you know?
My dear Harry, there are literally millions of containers in this harbor. I couldn't possibly remember what's in all of them.
There's something special about it. It was attached to a Kvalson crane. That one.
Harry, you smooth-talking son of a bitch. Time is a precious resource, and I don't have enough of it to count containers with you.
He says with the fondest of smiles. Okay, I'm wasting his time. Continue.
Smooth talking. Maybe that's the way to go about opening the container. You should at least try convincing it.
Did that just refresh my white check to open it? Okay. I'm going to talk the container into opening. Sure. So I did meet Joyce, the company representative.
Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see.
He adjusts a button on
I
his
hope
sleeve.
you're getting along.
You specifically didn't open the gates to let her in. I'm pretty sure. Did she actually leave her boat to try and come meet with Everett but couldn't? I feel like that was a thing, right? Now she's just waiting on her boat because what else can she do? I don't know. Maybe she just waited on her boat the entire time. Both of them just refusing to go meet the other one. That would be poetic. Continue.
One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. Everyone is just pals here.
One of the first things you said to me, Everard Clare, is that the victim was a mercenary hired by the Wild Pines, the bad guys. Like you specifically said. Can just pals?
Yes, we're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you shouldn't work with her just because you and I are such good friends. I'm not a jealous guy.
His smile widens, which is impressive under the circumstances. What happened to the previous negotiator, Mr. Gaumont? Joyce said the previous union leader vanished under suspicious circumstances. Why haven't you let her in to see you? Okay, let's talk about something else. Why haven't you let her in to see you?
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just don't have anything to discuss with a bad negotiator.
So it's a test. It's all a test. Okay, continue.
It's a fortress. He knows she can't get in here.
I mean, I did, but yeah, continue.
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Presumably, yes. Do we bring up Mr. Gaumont? And which way do we go about it? I'm sure this is an either-or choice. Either we specifically ask him what he knows about it, or we just suggest that Joyce is like, it just said it was suspicious. If I ask the first one, it implies that I want to hear his account from his mouth. Now, I also recognize that he lies as easily as he breathes, but let's go ahead and do that one.
What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go.
The big man sounds annoyed. He made concessions for the company in previous negotiations. Why would you let an ally like that go? Okay, another question.
He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left.
He looks down and sighs. You called him a midget, did he? Okay, another question. Did he? Was that thing from a thing from the conversation with Joyce, and I've just forgotten it because it's been too long?
Harry, I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. What is this?
He exclaims, indignant. Continue.
Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one is. We're pals.
Abruptly, he smiles and changes his tone. That's not a very convincing argument to be like, I would never call anyone that, but now I'm starting to think that you are one. Everard, what is your deal? Why am I still able to present the idea that Joyce said that it was suspicious circumstances? I guess it's just for him to be like, Joyce, you can't trust anything she says about them. And sure, let's just hear him. What?
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting.
Oh, good, because you... Okay, cool. Cool, that was... Continue.
Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing was over.
The man frowns disapprovingly. Continue.
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
Funny, Joyce didn't mention any casserole.
Harry, Harry, Harry. Do not fixate on this little matter. Maybe it was a rabbit stew, or a hairdryer, or an iron. The point is, her heart wasn't in it. Mine was.
Cooking and cleaning and laundry and the things that a woman would tend to, eh, Everard? He flicks his fingers, by the way. This guy. Okay, let's talk about something else.
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. It's perfectly okay to share anything we discuss here with this Joyce. This is a completely transparent organization.
Why are you talking about her like she's an invented character? Continue.
I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, none of this is secret.
He makes an all-encompassing gesture. None of this. You mean what's going on in this office? You mean what goes on in this city? I suppose that's the impression you want to give, is that you know everything that happens everywhere. Continue.
Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gun. Tell her about everything. Everard doesn't mind.
Why didn't you put asterisks around it this time? Lost gun, I mean. Continue.
It is rather interesting to tell people things about each other, isn't it? It was nice telling him about her right now.
Okay, so says conceptualization. Fair enough. Okay. All right. I don't know if anything is going to be accomplished by discussing my lost gun, but let's talk about my lost gun, since you seem to want to so badly.
Yes, your lost gun.
His face turns serious.
My best men are on it. They're turning every stone, searching every playground, asking kids, grandmas, everyone.
But she didn't bother asking the owner of the pawn shop, who remembered specifically about the gun. Continue.
Your gun will be found, Harry. Let me assure you of that. It's just a matter of time and effort.
He winks at you. And I presume here you mean my effort. Yes, continue.
The only way to find it seems to be working with him. He might even be holding your gun hostage.
Hold on, could he really hold my gun hostage? Wait, the gun may have been bought from Roy's pawn shop. Have your men factored that in? I will not be blackmailed with this gun business. I don't care about my gun. Keep it. Does this mean if I do things for you, I will get my gun back? Could he really hold my gun hostage?
Who knows? Only one thing is certain. If you work with him, you're going to get it back. And working with him might be the only way to do it.
I mean, that is what he said, but this guy is also a liar. Like, I specifically know that it was bought at Roy's pawn shop, according to Roy. Have your men factored that in?
Yes. Thank you for the hot tip regarding your lost gun, Harry. My men have indeed factored in that you pawned it.
He makes air quotes. Continue.
Now, please, let the professionals do their job. Kick back, Harry, relax. I have great guys on this. You focus on what's important. Building our relationship for the good of Martinez.
Continue.
It did not come as a surprise to him. He might actually not be bullshitting.
I will not be blackmailed with this gun business. I don't care about my gun. Keep it. Does this mean if I do things for you, I will get my gun back? How do we want to go about this? I genuinely don't think that he has it. But he might know who has it. But he also likes trying to hold things over my head with the assumption that I don't know about them not being a thing. You know, like the folder. The folder was a fake. But he would love to have control over me by trying to tempt me with fake information. Why can't I ask Kim about this one? This seems like a really important one to be like, Kim, what do you think about this? I don't want to be blackmailed with this gun business. But, I mean, the gun is gone. Your gun will be found, let me assure you of that. It's just a matter of time and effort. How much do I care about getting the... I mean, no, I have to get my gun back or else I'm fired. That's a thing. I forgot about that. I do need to get my gun back. Fine. Does this mean if I do things for you, I'll get my gun back?
Damn it, Harry. That's exactly what it means. I'm only kidding, of course.
He turns to the lieutenant. Continue.
Of course. I understand. We help you, you help us.
In that order, the lieutenant replies dryly. Cool, well, I'm gonna leave now, but we might talk again later.
Wait. You need this to get in and out through the gate.
Thanks. I was wondering how I'm supposed to get out. Great, wouldn't want to get stuck in here. We're specifically not thanking him, remember? We're not thanking him. Wouldn't want to get stuck in here.
Here. You're one of us now. A real red and white Union man. Take care, Harry.
Great. Thanks, Everard. I'm not supposed to say that, but fortunately I didn't actually. Ha ha! Because I'm not... that's my inside head voice, I guess. Giant novelty check. This 20 by 50 centimeter check looks like it's meant to be handed over ceremoniously on a gala-like event. It supposedly exchanges for 25 real at your local Frita store. Below the numbers, a careful hand has written the words... Constable's rent. All of it. Note, worthless in a pawn shop. I wonder if I can exchange it at Freet. Interact. We got a white envelope. A white envelope with a stamp attached to the upper right corner, handed to you by Everard Clare. Inside are some legal documents with 2 names printed on them. Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. Both signatures are required.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum.
It does seem like looking to find a loophole in the deal is probably a good thing, but maybe we shouldn't do it in Everard's office. Put the documents back in the envelope for now. Okay, let me just step out. Let me just... Okay. Is there anything I've missed in here? No. Okay, let's go. Let's go. This way, please. This way. Oh, I have to go down the... Right, I have to go down the crates stairs, the pallet stairs. Great. Well, that sure was something. Leo's still there. So let's walk a little distance away, right? A little distance away. Let's go over, say, next to that container. For no particular reason. Here we are. There's a thought. Kvalson means whale fjord in Arden. Okay. Cool. Good to know. All right. I now see the time. It has been an hour. I did, in fact, talk to Everard for an hour. Now, that's admittedly largely because I waffled over so many things in that conversation. But it went better than it could have. Admittedly, we did technically agree to work for him. But it's a logic check to find a loophole in it, so... I'm good at logic, theoretically. I think what I'll do is I'm going to end off right here. But next time, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up that envelope and I'm going to try and do that logic check. And the second thing I'm going to do is attempt to talk my way into this container somehow. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but either way, thank you for watching. And I will see you next time.